We finally get a small update about Everwild, a game that was announced a while ago and seemingly has gone through a bunch of different development cycles and issues. And it looks like it is finally making progress. Phil Spencer touches on that. We have some more games added to Xbox Cloud Gaming, games that you've purchased that you can just play via the cloud. Some more Capcom games are getting rated here for Xbox, looking like they're landing on the platform. Machine Games just put out Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which was a phenomenal game. And they're now working on something new and exciting. They're hiring for that, which is pretty cool. Elder Scrolls 6. Who knows when this game is coming out, but they are offering a pretty interesting experience here. We have a bunch of information about GTA 6, some potential stuff that could be happening with that game. Rainbow Six Siege, the next generation for it. We will also talk about that. But before we continue, if you like daily gaming news and content, hit the subscribe, share the video. Many of you who watch every morning are not subscribed, so I would appreciate you doing that. If you want to stay up to date on everything happening within the gaming industry. So Everwild, as we know, is a game that was announced a long time ago, and it's a game that we've heard in the news pretty much only on the negative side of things over the last number of years, that it's gone through pretty much development hell and that they've had to redo stuff within this game. Now, Matt Booty did touch on this a couple of years ago, I believe, or maybe it was last year. I'm not sure exactly the time frame, but he did touch on this and say that a lot of the reports about Everwild were basically overblown and it may not be as bad as some people had made it out to be, but we just haven't heard anything about Everwild. And hopefully this summer at the Xbox Showcase, we will finally hear more and see some gameplay for this game. But Phil Spencer has finally talked about it some more, and he gives us a small update basically saying that it's progressing and it's making good progress. This comes via his interview with Xbox Era. And he says, I'll go back to what I said earlier. State of Decay is just one of the franchises I love back from the original one. So that one stays on the board. I do think the work at Double Fine is doing and how Tim Schafer kind of solicits feedback from the team is great. And the other one I'll say, because I was recently out at Rare, it's nice to see the team with Everwild and the progress that they are making. Goes on here to say it has been a while. We've been able to give those teams time in what they're doing, which is good, and still have a portfolio like we have, which is a dream that Matt Booty and I have had for a long time. So it's finally good to be there. We can give those teams time. Next week, I'm going to be up in Vancouver with the Coalition. So he is specifically mentioning here the games that he's anticipated for and that they are progressing positively here to eventually get released. And one of the interesting things on top of that piece of information that we did hear him say is just talking about the overall portfolio, where they are in a point right now when you look at Xbox and the amount of games they do have, especially after ABK, is they can give games a significant amount of time without having huge gaps in their first party release schedule. Now, I think going forward, that has to be handled better. I feel like there's no point in announcing a game until it is kind of close to be released. Like, people don't really want to wait 5-6 years after the announcement of a game. It does kill the hype for it. You have people asking so many questions. You see all these hit articles on development hell about these games that do come out because of that. So I think at this point, they don't even need to do that anymore. Back when they were announcing Everwild and stuff is because honestly, Xbox just didn't have that much first party games in the pipeline. So they had to give people something to be excited for. Now that's not an issue. Now they don't have to worry about that. They can announce games when they are ready or closer to being ready and do things like the developer direct and show us games that are coming out within the next 6 months or so and then actually hit those dates. So I think that's a very positive thing if you are an Xbox fan, if you are in the Xbox ecosystem, Game Pass and stuff, is that I think from now going forward, we probably won't see too many games announced that are years and years and years out with the amount of titles that they do have in the development. Now, the other thing that Xbox is continuously expanding upon is Xbox Cloud Gaming and just the ability to stream your library of games that you purchase, something that I hope they do expand out to far more titles, and I hope they kind of speed this thing up. It is annoying a little bit to see these features, look at them, and realize that they would be very, very good for the way that you play games, and it takes so long to roll out to more titles. But there are 3 more here that have been added as new additions to this feature, and that is Broforce, the Talos Principle 2, and Tomb Raider 4-6 Remastered, which now puts the full list at 65 titles in total. And they say earlier this month, another 10 plus games were added to the initial 50 strong lineup. And of course, the vast majority of Game Pass titles are also playable via the cloud. So when they did announce the ability to play your purchase games via the cloud, they did say, here's the 50, and then they're going to roll out more as we move forward. Right now it's 65. Not bad, but I would love to see this sped up a lot more. And I would really have my fingers crossed that going forward next year and beyond, when third parties are putting their games on Xbox, that they just enable this feature. It's something that just basically becomes standard for these developers when putting their games in the Xbox ecosystem, that they will allow you to play them if you've purchased them via cloud gaming on Xbox. So you can buy it on your Xbox, then when you're out, play it on a cloud streaming device, play it on your phone and stuff. I really hope that's something that we do see becoming more and more standard moving forward with the Xbox Store and the Xbox ecosystem. All right, let's talk Capcom. They're rating more games for the Xbox Series consoles, the Xbox Series S and X. And last week we saw that Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 were rated for Xbox. We don't know what these are, if they're remakes or remasters. I'm assuming they are just remasters of the older titles that they're going to be upgraded here for the Xbox console, maybe improve frame rates or something, or maybe they're just going to give you access to these older games on there to purchase as we prepare here, I believe, sometime soon for the announcements and eventual launch of Resident Evil 9. But another game here has been rated, and this is the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. Now, I do believe this game is on Xbox right now, so not sure why it is specifically being rated here at this point. The thing I can think of is that it got rated for the Xbox Series console, and previously it was just for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. These fighting collections release on last generation, and then you play them as backwards compatible games. That's the issue that we saw with the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, which, by the way, is out on Xbox right now. You saw a lot of people outraged that that game did miss Xbox when it's launched, coming up with all of these conspiracy theories about Capcom just not liking Xbox anymore and feeling like they shouldn't have to release games on Xbox, things like that, which clearly wasn't the case. We did see that it was a technical issue with the Xbox One pipeline that they did get worked out. So I'm assuming going forward, all of these newer collections that come out in the upcoming years will be releasing on Xbox day one. But it is out on Xbox. I bought it. It is phenomenal. This one is out on Xbox One, the 30th Anniversary Collection, but not on the series. So I wonder if there will be any sort of upgrades for this, or they're just having to rate it now because it's going to be potentially being able to be played outside of the entire backwards compatibility format. So interesting there. We'll see if it gets rated as well for the PS5, and then that probably will signal more information on if that is the case as to what is happening here. All right, let's talk machine games. This one's exciting if you're a fan of machine games. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, they released it in December. Highly recommend going to play it. It is a very, very good game. I think it actually surprised a lot of people. I don't think people expected Indiana Jones to be as good of a game as it was. I think they were looking at it and thought it would be just an okay, mediocre game. But when it dropped, Machine Games did a phenomenal job with the IP and a phenomenal job with the gameplay. I loved playing through it. And they're going to be working on something else now that Indiana Jones has been released. And it looks like they're hiring and they're ramping up here too. Work on whatever is next. We don't know what it is. I think some people probably know at this point, but the public doesn't know what it is. I've seen some comments on X, I believe from like Special Nick and stuff, who says that he knows what it is. I'm guessing this has to do with another entry into the Wolfenstein series. That would be my best guess, because that's what they've made in the past. They're phenomenal games, and personally, I would just love to see another one in the series. But we have this here, Nicole Ackerlid for the HR at Machine Game says, hi, network, and happy Monday. We are working on some pretty cool things here after the release of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle here in December, and we want more people to join us in the next chapter of ours. We have several open roles right now, ranging from several lead positions, artists, programmers, animators, and so on. So take a look at our career page and apply today. You just might be the one we are looking for. Machine Games is ramping up here, hiring for their next project. Again, we don't know what it is. My guess is Wolfenstein, or they've been given a brand new IP of some sorts, which would also be very, very cool. All right, Elder Scrolls 6, obviously when this game does come out, is going to be one of the biggest games released ever, I think, at least in sales and just hype and everything. It's been a long time since we saw that launch, that splash screen for the game. A lot has happened since then as well, especially with the acquisition of Bethesda by Xbox. But it looks like they are trying to here offer Bethesda fans a once in a lifetime opportunity. This is via a charity auction. And it says here the opportunity was shared on Monday as a part of a Make-A-Wish charity auction, with the winning bidder able to create their own NPC for the next Elder Scrolls game, saying this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, allowing you to immortalize yourself in one of the most highly anticipated video games of all time, The Elder Scrolls 6. And they talk about here how it's developed by Bethesda Game Studios, renowned for the vast open worlds, deep lore, and immersive storytelling. With its exclusive experience, you'll work with developers to create a custom character that will appear in the game, leaving your mark on the legendary franchise. And it's for a great cause. It's for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I mean, this is a pretty once in a lifetime experience, because NPCs, characters within this, in the Elder Scrolls series, they're renowned. Just a lot of people love them. They have stories about them. They love talking about them. People have their favorite NPCs. And if you're in that game and you end up becoming one of the more popular ones as well, that would be just an awesome thing to have happen. This also, I think, tells us that this game is still a ways out, that they're still developing players and NPCs for the game itself. I wonder when this game is going to be coming out. It is going to be a very long time, probably not until the next generation, which is crazy because this did get announced way back in 2018. Like, we're going to be going on 10 years here before we see Elder Scrolls 6 again, unless they completely surprise us and show it this year as just some gameplay or something at the Xbox Showcase. Highly doubtful, but it would be insane if that were something that did happen. All right, GTA 6 right now slated for 2025, which is exciting. I had feelings that it was going to be getting delayed. It is only coming out on the console. I think the PC versions are going to blow people away. Like, if you're playing on a very high-end rig with the highest settings. I mean, you look at GTA 5 right now with some of the upgrades it got throughout its lifetime. You play it on the highest settings. The game looks just absolutely phenomenal. So GTA 6 is going to blow people away. And it looks like we may not have to wait that long if you just want to wait to play this game on PC. You don't want to get it on Xbox or console. Now, obviously, take this with a grain of salt at this point, but this is according to Corsair. They have here that the launch window has been confirmed by the publisher and the developer Rockstar Games as fall 2025 on PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series S and X, but PC fans will have to wait as usual for the franchise. And speaking to investors on the company's Q4 2024 earnings report, Corsair Gaming CEO Andrew Paul seemed to think that GTA 6 might arrive much sooner than anticipated on PC, with an early 2026 release window. Specifically says, but yes, GTA 5 is probably the one everyone is talking about, and we'll get a glimpse of that, I think, later in the year for console. But my understanding now is it's going to come out in the fall for console and then early 26 for PC. So you would assume he would say this because he has some information from Rockstar communicating with them or something along those lines, and they've hinted here that it will be coming out in early 2026. Not surprising. I think Rockstar's looking at this and they want to capitalize on PC just as every other company does, and they want to capitalize sooner rather than later. They don't want to have to wait super long to put it out there, as PC is the growing market. And I think you're seeing more and more console players switch over to PC, so they want to make sure that they're capturing those customers, as well as obviously the customers that are playing on console when it does launch in 2025. PC is the future. The reality is, whether you're a PC gamer or not, the consoles themselves under the hood are PCs. They pretty much act as them. And going forward into next generation, I think that is just basically going to continue. We'll have many more options of where we want to play our games, but it's going to be because PC has expanded the market in so many ways. And PC has also broken down a lot of barriers, so people aren't kept behind paywalls and stuff like that to be able to access and play games. And specifically, you look at the Xbox strategy, you look at PlayStation putting their games onto PC. The question is, will Nintendo ever make their way over to PC by their own choice? Because you can play their games on PC, but obviously that is not recommended, as Nintendo goes after everybody who does stuff like that. And we also have some more information on GTA 6. This one, pretty exciting, I think. If you think about the potential as to what this could mean for the game, It looks like they're reportedly planning Roblox Fortnite style user generated content. And this is according to a new report from DigiDay, which cites 3 industry insiders with knowledge of the meetings, claiming that Rockstar is planning to allow creators to modify GTA 6 game environment and assets to bring their own intellectual property into its sandbox. Specifically, it says this: notably in 2023, Rockstar acquired CFX.RE, the group behind some of GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2's most popular modding tools. And the report goes on to say that the conversations with content creators remained relatively open-ended, specifically saying it's unclear exactly how creators would benefit from bringing their IP and audiences into GTA 6 beyond the exposure that would come from having a presence inside of one of the world's most popular gaming properties. I can absolutely see this happening with their online portion of the game, specifically where they are just allowing content creators and users to make user-generated content similar to what we see in other games out there, like obviously with Halo's Forge and everything, and just building out these insane worlds that people live in, have their communities playing in. I mean, you look at GTA 5 online right now, it is massive and people live in that world. Being able to bring in your own IP, your own brand, specifically in the game, and build out some pretty cool stuff is something I definitely can see Rockstar trying to capitalize on to keep people just stuck in that world and not moving on to play anything else. And finally, Rainbow Six Siege. This game has been out going on 10 years now, and you have to think we're going to see something new from this series eventually, or at least an upgrade to the game itself. It's still very popular, highly populated with a lot of people playing, so they don't really need to make too many major changes. It's kind of like CS and Counter-Strike. They make minor changes. The game basically stays the same with some nice upgrades, and I feel like that's what's going to be happening here, as Ubisoft has announced that Rainbow Six Siege X is a new era for the game, and there will be a showcase for this next month, March 13th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. They say a new era is on the horizon for Rainbow Six Siege, one that sets the stage for the years to come of tactical and unique gameplay, and we'd like to invite you to be a part of it. Welcome to Siege X. This is what Rainbow Six and Ubisoft put out there. So March 13th, look forward to that. I'm pretty excited for it. I do enjoy this game. When I did play it, I haven't played it in a while, but it was one of my favorite shooters. So excited to see what upgrades they're going to bring to this game. I will probably jump back in once we finally get Rainbow Six Siege X. But on the video there, if you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.